Okay.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
That was... Okay, I'm kind of blown away. Like, by far and away, BDS outperformed both of you in the fighting arena. Those are the best moves that I've seen all day so far. But hello, welcome Initialise. Obviously, you've casted before. Never with me, though.
No, I'm excited for this.
Apparently, though, people say that we have quite similar accents.
So I hear.
So one of us is going to have to change.
All right.
And I've been here longer,
Right, so what do you want from me?
You're just going to...
I can go... Like, so my mum's from Yorkshire. I could maybe go that way.
Have you got Scottish, maybe?
Badly.
Okay, well, show me your Scottish.
Achne.
Okay, well...
No, stopping that one right there.
We're going to stop that. Save the Scots, and there he is.
I apologize profusely.
But we are jumping into draft, of course, Team BDS versus Team Heretics. In terms of stakes, both these teams have, of course, locked top 8. There isn't a huge amount on the line. There is a little bit in terms of positioning and seeding, but a lot of that is still determined based on the results later on into the day. But of course, both these teams have been locked. So right now, both these teams are largely just trying to play to get ahead of their opposition and maybe get a slightly better time when it comes to the best of threes.
That's the plan, of course. And, you know, that means that there's still some stuff to play for, but maybe eyes are starting to turn forwards, more towards improvement, more towards what's happening in the next stage and pulling some stuff out here. I don't think there's too much of a surprise in terms of the bans as yet. I will note, though, that Heretics have decided to leave most of Adam's champion pool alone, though the Darius, as played by, I believe, Ender on the desk, has been banned away.
Makes a lot of sense. It is a very strong pick. The cheeky hover of the Olaf from Adam there, showcasing that he does still have a very deep champion pool, and he's more than happy to answer the Cassante. Look, he's teasing Ebby a little bit with the Cassante hover. Would be very surprised to see that locked in first. Expecting something like a Sejuani, perhaps an AD carry to come through, and the Ashe being up and available. No surprise. Yet to actually see this from BDS so far this split. Haven't actually played any Ashe. And of course, we've seen it being flexed in both AD carry and support. An incredibly powerful AD carry in the current meta. So not too surprising to see that one come through. From Heretics, wouldn't be surprised to see something like the, well, Varus along with Sejuani is a very common pairing. Varus Heimerdinger is going to be
did a good job with that yesterday.
Yeah, he certainly did. Okay, so we're going to see a pretty potent bot lane from the side of Heretics. This does suggest to me that we are going to see the Ashe move into the position of support, and then we're going to see something else in the role of AD carry. What, though, is yet to be determined. Wouldn't be surprised, given that it is Crownie, to see something like an Ezreal. We have, of course, seen his Jhin before, which we know is actually considered a bit of a counter to the Heimerdinger, but not going to go in either direction. You're going to lock in the Zeri along with the Azir. So they do have a lot of scaling on the side of BDS, a lot of range, a lot of poke, basically at their disposal. They are leaving the jungle role well, available right now, which gives Heretics some freedom if they want to choose to lock that one in now and then start target banning some champions away from Sheo.
And you can say with the Ashe, you can start to get some lane pro for that Zeri. You know what happens if Zeris get free lanes? You end up with what happened with Exekick yesterday, namely some very deadly later game team fights. The Sejuani you called out, though, is locked in pretty rapidly for Jankos back on Sejuani.
So nothing too surprising. I think the only surprising thing about this draft is the high priority on the Azir. I think one of the main reasons for it is that when you look at Ruby's champion pool, 4 games of Azir, it is by far and away his most played so far this split. And BDS is saying, you know what, we're confident in Nuke going up against Ruby in this matchup, but why not just give Nuke the most comfortable? We know that he can play Azir. It scales very well, very good in the meta. That's actually forced Ruby onto something that maybe he's not as comfortable on. But I think there's something like a Victor, maybe a good ban here from BDS if they want to try and narrow that pool down. When you kind of look at what Ruby likes, it is a lot of these control mages. Victor, Cassio, Orianna is something that BDS could also look to remove if they're concerned about it, or if they want to try and limit Ruby's pool as much as possible.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, back in the LPL, Ruby was indeed very famous for things like the Victor, and he's shown it here today, and it's going to be banned away. On the other side, Heretics may be looking towards that jungle pool a little bit. Sheo suffered his first competitive loss ever on the Wukong yesterday, and they're just not going to allow him to have it this time around. Maybe something like the Vi as well might be an angle, as that's been very strong. The Maokai's already gone.
Very much agree, but they're actually choosing to ban the Cassante themselves. does suggest to me that Heretics right now is looking at a mid lane answer on their 4th pick, and they're saying, BDS, you're going to have to blind something. You can't necessarily blind the Olaf, of course, with Jax. I was going to say still up. This is a direction that BDS could go, but that's now being removed. So what will Adam actually go for in the top lane? As you expect Heretics to bring out something like the Orianna. I'd be surprised if we did see a Cassio. Are we going to get to see Ruby's Akali? I would love to see this. I think it pairs up very well with something like a Sejuani. An extra melee champion to be able to synergize with the Sejuani passive makes a lot of sense to me, but Sylas, I think, equally just as strong and a more common mid-jungle duo that we often see.
And again, another melee champion, so still a similar thing to pair it with the Sejuani in terms of that synergy. Sheo currently thinking about what jungler to go towards. Are going to wait on that hover. What would you like them to see lock in, mate?
I think a little bit more utility would be good. Right now, they are lacking engage. I think that something like a Vi could be good, but I recognize that their composition doesn't actually have the strongest dive. So maybe they just want a few more disengage tools. I think that Sett is top.
That's likely so. I mean, unless something's getting very weirdly flexed, that is likely a top lane Sett. It's been a while.
Yeah, it really has. I'm sure Stats can do a little bit of digging as to when the last time we actually saw a Sett top in the LEC was. I have a feeling it may have even been last split, but I can't quite remember. But I think the Vi makes sense, because now you actually have something that can dive alongside the Vi. Initially, I was concerned because BDS, they've drafted themselves a very long-range comp, typically a front-to-back composition where you want a powerful front line that you can then play behind. With a lot of the main frontline junglers being removed from the pool, BDS have to do something different while also offering utility, and the Vi and the Sett actually act as a pretty potent duo that can remove the Sejuani from the front line, put it in the back line, and then the range of BDS's back line can then be used to the full extent.
Ebby goes back towards the Renekton, his final pick here into the Sett, and I kind of agree with you in terms of the Sett joining with Vi, because we saw what happened with Bo yesterday. Poor guy was diving 30,000 miles into the back line with the Vi and a very heavy number of deaths. But that is the comps as rounded out. A little bit of dive for BDS with the top jungle, but perhaps a little bit more standard for Heretics outside of the Heimer being flavor of the month.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Just looking at it on paper, my expectations are that BDS should have the slightly stronger scaling composition. I'm really interested to see this bot lane matchup, because expectations are that Varus in the early laning phase does have power. How will they match up with the Ashe and the Heimerdinger going against each other? We know that Ashe is often even used as a Heimerdinger answer down towards the bot lane, so we'll see how that 2v2 plays out. But this mid lane can be very volatile. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jankos actually invest a couple ganks in mid to try and get Ruby ahead, unlock this Sylas on the map a little bit more, and start getting a little bit crazy. But of course, the analyst has talked about it, this top lane matchup.
Yeah.
You know that Adam has had an incredible split so far. We know that Ebby is not afraid to get down and dirty and will go toe-to-toe, and with Renekton versus Sett, it can be a very volatile top lane.
The Ebby, there we go, love it. Who needs shrimp when you can be a bee?
I don't know how I follow that up. Yeah, if my options are being a shrimp or being a bee, I guess I'll be a bee.
I mean, he was one of the winners of the pre-split showdown. But enough from us. We got some lights, we got some cameras, and then we'll have the action. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Looks like we've actually got a bit of a level 1 setup here. Turrets do get thrown down, and everybody's here already. Gonna force Crownie to flash level 1. Not a great start for the Zeri, but the turnaround begins to come through. Lots of damage come through. Adam, flash, face breaker. And first blood over to BDS.
Wow, Adam starting off the game strong. Flash E into the double punch in the face. Means that Ruby's going to lose his life, and BDS is going to draw first blood. Now, we have a graphic prepared.
We do.
And this is a perfect summary of it. So Heretics, that's the one, typically have quite violent games.
They
Initialise. You can see the average kills per game, the average deaths per game, and their combined kills per minute. There is a lot of violence in Heretics games, and already within the first minute, we have seen the first blood being drawn. My expectations are this is going to be a bloody back and forth. And reminder, BDS and Team Heretics, in terms of stakes, not a huge amount on the line. There is a bit of a fight for seeding in the middle of the pack. But as we get back into this replay, have a look at the positioning of Adam here, and like he's setting up for that E. He's just slowly walking threateningly at his opposition. He sees the overstep with all of these wards that are invested in the bush, and he's able to get that hit onto Ruby. The heal comes out from Jackspektra, the flash comes out from Mersa, but it's not enough. The kill goes in favor of Adam, and now he walks away with an extra cloth armor.
Very pleased with that, especially into a Renekton early, and might have been a while since we've seen the Sett, but already huge value out of that level 1.
Certainly the case. Now we have to see what the junglers are up to. We can see Jankos actually doing a full clear topside. I wonder if he'll pay a visit to Adam. Reminder that there is no flash up there, so a perfect opportunity for a gank.
Oh, Crownie now has to burn the cleanse, already down that flash, and that's a bit of a rough thing to be losing, as Jankos does exactly as you say. Prepares for a bit of an attempt. Topside face breaker down means Adam a little bit more vulnerable for a moment or two. Remember, no flash on that level 1. Gets stunned up, and the kill will be donated over to Ebby. It's 1 for 1 in the top side.
A very clean play from Jankos and Ebby, and it just makes sense. Adam tried to take advantage of his early power in the laning phase and gets that early push, but he doesn't have the cover from Sheo. Sheo now covering mid because he recognizes that Jankos could look for something, but nothing going to come off the back of it. So Jankos now going to path towards the bot side of the map. Sheo slowly pathing up towards top. And can we have a quick look at the top lane observers? I want to see exactly where this wave is from Ebby. So it will start slowly pushing back towards Adam. And this is where Ebby is in a bit of a dangerous spot because Sheo is pathing towards the top side of the map. With the push that Nuke has in mid lane, there is a real risk of him getting killed. So this window here is where Ebby has to be very, very careful, very patient. The same can be said on the bot side of the map. We can see that Crownie and Labrov, they actually do have the push. Labrov does have summoners up, but that can't be said for Crownie, and it looks like after this push, they're immediately going to go back to base. And this makes a lot of sense, because again, your jungler is not anywhere near you. Good trade once again, though, from Adam. Ebby likely going to go back to base and be forced to TP.
And wisely so, with, as you said, Sheo being on that top side of the map. If he sticks around, is in danger of giving over a kill himself, and so the retreat and teleport back in will come through. Ruby, though, also a little bit low, has been trading his health bar to get control of the wave, and he'll back out.
But the last time we did see a Sett in the LEC was actually last summer, 2022. Okay. It was played by Genax on SK. I knew I'd seen it somewhere, but I couldn't quite remember. But thank you very much, Stats team, for getting that information to us. Adam, for those unfamiliar, was actually a very prominent Sett player back in the day, back in his LFL days, and on his Fnatic time. Sheo in a bit of danger.
Ebby's roamed alongside Ruby. I'm not sure there's that many places to go. He pulled off some wonderful invades and fights against Foe yesterday, but Heretics are having none of it today. Sheo falls down.
Sheo even commits the flash there, and Heretics secure themselves another kill. 3 on the board now, 4.5 minutes in, and you have to wonder what he was doing with that invade. Ironically, we saw the exact same play from Jankos yesterday on the exact same place, and he too got punished.
Learn from his mistakes, at least.
Junglers, consistent. They want that first respawn of the Raptor camp, and while Sheo does get it, it did cost him his life. So, a bit of a blunder there.
Jackspektra and Mersa will roam up as well and secure that bot side Scuttle Crab to prevent that going down, as of course Jankos was top side for that kill, so we'll make sure that goes down on spawn. But never mind that, we've got a jungle fight alongside the top laners up here, but the stun comes through and Ebby wisely flashes away, seeing the danger coming through.
Ebby only level 4. They were concerned about Sheo joining this fight and being able to turn it around. Adam being level 5, and with that giant minion wave stacking up, it's not a fight that Heretics can really afford to lose. Jankos, though, sees that Ruby is making his way up from mid, and Sheo is forced to back away. Ebby can hold the wave here now, and I like what Adam's doing. He's forcing Ebby underneath the tower.
Gets the heal back with the Culver Meek. Jankos coming forward, but Sheo's still here. This is a bit risky. Misses the Vault Breaker, and it says Adam's face that gets broken in. Sheo now in danger as well. Remember, no flash forward for the stun, and Ebby on a killing spree. This top side completely capitulating for BDS.
Jankos and Ebby are just mopping the floor with Adam and Sheo. Punish after punish. A 1k gold lead is now the advantage. And the unsung hero in all of this is Ruby in the mid lane. Did he do anything? Literally no. But he did move, and just the threat of him joining the top side of the map put that extra bit of mental pressure onto Sheo. So as we see this slight exchange, keep your eyes on the minimap. Look, Nuke is stuck in the mid wave as Ruby is just hovering in the fog of war, which is why Jankos can threaten this and why Sheo isn't really able to commit. Adam takes a lot of damage. Nice sidestep from Jankos as Sheo is not able to connect the Vault Breaker. And Ebby and Jankos are just able to clean up in the 2 versus 2. Great performance from the top jungle from Heretics.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And, you know, the desk was highlighting it. We've highlighted before. Ebby versus Adam was a discussion in some ways about who is going to be possibly the best top laner in the league. I know in the green room you're saying, look, Adam possibly right up there. And this game, great level 1. Kind of been a little bit difficult from there, though granted, Heretics have put a lot of attention on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting that Adam can even be in the conversation. We've got to slow down as Jankos looking for a play.
We try to talk narratives, and Jankos just won't give us the room to breathe. Jackspektra gets a kill. Now Crownie got his flashing cleanse back up, but is not going to be forced to use either of them. Just a lot of health bar that he loses.
Nice sidestep from Crownie at the end there, but another kill going in the favor of Heretics. Adam trying to get something back on the cross map by stealing away Jankos' red, but I don't think he cares. He can start off this dragon if he wants to. He is currently sitting on a ward. The pings are coming down. Interesting.
Waiting for
He's waiting for the Scuttle Crab. Yeah. It's a good spot there. Okay, so small advantages gained for BDS. Yes, stealing away the red buff, not that bad. But overall, Jankos very active on the map. 1, 0, and 4 rather. Been involved in all 5 of Heretics' kills. And we talked about our expectations. We expected this to be a bloody game. I did not expect it to be this volatile and for Jankos and Ebby to be putting a clinic on in the top lane.
And it's a bit of a special. It was something that Ebby was notorious for back in the LGL. Team it with his jungler on things like Sett, on things like Renekton, and just using the early power, the early fighting capability to come up with these massive individual leads. And now 3-0-1, this Renekton set up pretty well to carry.
Certainly is. But now the Herald has spawned, and this is our next big point of contention. It will be Ebby and Jankos to start things off. Keeping my eyes on Mersa and Labrov as they make their way out towards the mid lane. You can see a bit of supportal combat in the bottom river as both supports are just fighting over wards. But it looks like Ebby and Jankos far too strong at this point in the game. And BDS don't want to run the risk of going for a fight right now.
Sheo doesn't have level 6 yet either, and into a Dominus, into a Glacial Prison. You imagine that might be a bad idea. So yeah, wise you don't fight that one, and the Herald easily secured. Just a bit of trading in the top side as we go back towards that top lane.
Level 7 for Jankos right now. He's having a stellar game.
Yes.
Looking very, very good. As a reminder, both these teams will be playing in our best of 3s to start next week already.
Yes, they do.
The new format of the LEC, 6-week-long split. After winter will, of course, be our spring split, but 3 weeks of best of 1s into 2 weeks of best of 3s. I mean that next week already you'll get to watch some of these teams compete in the best of 3s for a spot in the top 4 playoffs at the end of winter. Regardless, though, Jankos once again looking for a play. No vision here.
A very active game so far. Jankos with that Herald, and with Glacial Prison back and available, looking to see whether something can happen bot side. But now that they know he's there, Ebby about to find himself with a lot of members turning up towards him and the big wave crashing. Pops the Dominus, summons a teleport. Still gonna get flashed on top of. Absolute mess. And Adam gets the shutdown.
I couldn't even keep track of what happened in that fight. The arrow comes up, will not connect onto Ruby. But Ebby was saying, you know what, I think we can take this fight. Ruby, you can TP in, we can fight them 2 versus 3. And then Ebby painfully realized, okay, maybe not. But now Heretics threatening the dive in bot lane.
Necessary gold for Adam, but as a result of everyone being topside, Labrov and Crownie are in a very dangerous position. The stuns come through, and Labrov can throw as many slows down as he wants. Surely he falls? No, he does not. He gets to walk on out. And Crownie holds the ground to force Heretics back away.
The cooldown's a little too long there for Jankos. Mersa and Jankos basically ran out of fuel. Nuke now made his way to bot lane, has his eyes on Mersa. Very low HP Heimerdinger. He will be able to get away to safety. Nuke not really going to lose much in the mid lane either, largely because Ruby forced to go back to base after catching that top wave. He should arrive in mid at about the same time, but let's have a look back at this top lane play. So I think the idea is pretty good here from Ebby. He's trying to clear out the wave as much as possible. He should get level 8 off this wave as well. And then you'll see alongside Ruby, you're thinking, hey, this looks pretty good. And then look at this, the flash from Adam into the ultimate, into the wall. The ultimate from Vi, along with the ultimate from Nuke, means that the Renekton basically gets chain CC'd, and Adam can then secure the final kill, getting that shut down, and actually now being in a gold lead once again.
Somehow, some way, a bit of first blood, and actually the CS, because Ebby lost a fair amount with those waves going down. So yeah, this top lane, volatile as expected, back and forth right now. We're into a game where Heretics with a slight gold lead, but a bit messy in some ways as expected. High action, one might say.
I'm a big fan. This is the kind of game I like to start off the day. Jankos threatening Crownie right now.
Still got the Herald.
Yeah, he's choosing. I didn't get to see earlier, but he did obviously take a lot of damage in that exchange that happened between Jankos and Mersa. But this will be a lot of plate gold going in favor of Heretics. Good smite from Sheo will buy a little bit more time, but Jackspektra and Mersa can just push in this wave. Crownie's not going to get back to lane for a while. Now Jackspektra has an opportunity here to just go back to base and reset if he wants to. Oh, hang on a second. Adam has ult.
So does Ebby. That gets a little bit close, but yeah, no flash quite yet. Adam got TP in 6 seconds, so maybe can do things. Here's the arrow. Keep your eyes on all the world on one arrow! Adam doesn't even need to use the ult. Ebby's face broken in and turned into a pincushion.
Beautiful shot there from Labrov. 360 no scope. Get me some Bring Me the Horizon.
Can you feel my heart?
Yeah. I can already see the edits now.
Oh no, what have you done?
Beautiful stuff from
TikTok
BDS.
has been changed forever.
Adam gonna equalize the kill score against Ebby now.
Oh, the Glacial Prison. Do not pass go. Do not pick up 350 gold though, says Nuke. As the ult is pretty damn good. Still gonna go die, surely. Jankos finally secures it. Sheo thinking about going in, but Vault Breaker's the other way.
Okay, Jankos is feeling it today. A perfectly placed ultimate from the Sejuani into his double. Oh, hang on.
Oh, flash away now the turnaround. He's got his own Vi ult. The cease and desist comes through. Adam, though, just turns up and dunks him. WWE Smackdown in the mid lane.
It's a bounce house in the mid lane. We saw Sheo's ult into Ruby's ult into Adam's ult. Everyone's getting the opportunity to fly today. The kill score is 4-6, and Mersa's now in danger.
He is, but there's another arrow. Labrov just doesn't miss. Another 360, and Sheo gets Mersa.
And just like that, the game is very quickly devolving into madness. Jankos not slowing down though, has his eyes on Adam, knows there's no ultimate, instead gonna prioritize stealing away some of these topside camps. And let's cool down and kind of take stock of the situation here, because the gold has basically been equalized. Adam does have a big advantage in the isolated 1v1 now because he's finished the Gore Drinker, has the level lead, and even though Jankos and Ebby did a great job of finding advantages in the early laning phase, a couple of mistakes and a couple of great plays from BDS have very quickly turned that around. One Drake advantage for Heretics, but you look with the Dragon spawning in a minute's time. BDS have to feel pretty confident that they can fight this. No TPs available for either top laner. Ebby gonna look to go back to base now. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make his way towards bot. The question is, will he get his item upgrades? It looks like that he will, which is a big item spike necessary. He's actually gonna path towards top for the time being. But huge credit to Jankos. His impact in this game has been very felt.
You can sort of see it in some of the gold. Jackspektra doing pretty well over Crownie, but actually, yeah, Ebby, Adam relatively close. So there is that lead that has come through now. That Sett after the level 1, managing to pull it back again. And it has been that back and forth. And Dragon, as you said, 20 seconds. And everybody with items looking ready to play. Only Jankos really the one missing that completed mythic. Chainsaw for Sheo means he's got that completion over his opposing jungler. Arrow lands onto Jackspektra, no cleanse. Does flash away Mersa with the grenade to root. And Adam flashing for the Haymaker. He's feeling it.
The most unnecessary flash ever from Adam. But he's saying, you know what, I don't need it. I don't need my flash. It's whatever.
Let him know.
The Dragon should be secured. And okay, I was questioning why Ebby chose not to move down to contest the Drake. It looks like the Heretics game plan here is to just get the cross map. Very surprised Jackspektra did not lose his life off the back of that engage. Another great arrow from Labrov with a follow-up from Nuke. In my opinion, should have resulted in his death, but he was able to get away to safety. Meanwhile, Jankos will secure this Herald on the top side. Tower going in favor of Heretics as well. And now, Heretics can use this Herald to unlock the mid lane. You kind of look at the composition of Heretics. You've got 3 melee champions, which can make sieging quite challenging, especially against an Azir. So by having this neutral objective, and as I say that, look, they're heading towards mid, looking to break open the map a little bit more.
Bit of top lane trading again. We've seen this all game long. Ruby throwing the stolen arrow, goes wide. Doesn't quite have, oh my god, actually lands onto Sheo in the mid lane, takes a stray. Labrov turning around the mid lane. Mersa is the one who catches that arrow. And the Herald charges, but the mid lane turret doesn't fall.
Ebby taking a lot of punishment in the isolated 1v1 right now against Adam. You can see how much stronger this Sett is continuing to get. But no, the mid lane tower did not fall, as you rightly said. Nuke is still alive and well, holding the line. But Adam has his eyes set on this top tower. Ebby at only about 50% HP. You can see a full level difference between the two top laners.
Yeah. Of course, there's no ultimate available for Ebby. There is for Adam. Here comes the rest of the team. Jankos going to try and turn this one around. Throw down that Glacial Prison. Facemaker into the showstopper. Ebby alive. Haymaker goes wide. Jackspektra's turned up and throws a few more arrows of his own. Adam looking to fall down as well. Mersa turns up and throws a rocket barrage. You can't punch your way out of this one. And Jankos claims the shutdown.
Beautiful performance from Ebby as he's able to very narrowly get away with his life. Heretics shut down the dive. They walk away with 2 kills, but BDS on the cross map able to get something in return. The bot tower will fall, the mid tower very close to falling as well. And both teams, great awareness. Arrow goes wide. Labrov been landing a lot of great arrows this game. Weren't able to find one.
Feels like.
But the kills continue to fall. 8-5 is now the kill score.
Let's have a look at this replay because it feels like no one get a clean advantage in this game. Ebby just about survives to die.
So Ebby doesn't have ulti, so you're thinking surely he can get this, but a great ultimate from Jankos, and the fact that Sheo is tanking the tower. Jackspektra comes in, lands the ultimate, which means that Sheo ends up taking another tower shot. He's able to clean him up because Sheo can't really move. Adam at this point can only really buy time as Ruby has also joined the fray. That kill, a little unfortunate that it went over to Jankos. I'm sure Ruby would have been much happier to pick that one up as he hasn't gotten a kill yet. But again, Jankos continuing to be involved in every single kill. 100% KP so far. 3-0-5. He's definitely on a tear in the final game of the regular split here for Winter.
One of the greatest to ever do it in Europe. Definitely putting his name to this game. Radiant Virtue now completed. And just a shout out, maybe if Adam had that flash, you could have made it there, just saying.
Maybe, yeah.
But that's the price when you're playing with this kind of verve. Both top laners have found and lost advantages over this game. So Heretics will finally finish up what the Herald started earlier, claim another turret for themselves. Yeah. All out turrets for.
This top lane matchup has really delivered, and a lot of credit needs to be given to the junglers as well, of course, but wow, what we saw, what, a 3-0-1 Ebby into a 4-2-0 Adam into now both top laners pretty much even in gold. You can see Ebby does have a slight lead again, but that gold value just keeps shifting back and forth between the two.
Really has. Now Crownie is caught out, was very far up here, has cleanse, has flash, may need to use both here. There's a Glacial Prison available, comes through, Ruby steals an ultimate and will lightly crash his way to a quick kill on the AD carry. Mid lane though, Jackspektra hit with an arrow between multiple towers. Dive comes through and they get that kill. It's always a 1-for-1. Ebby blast coning in. We'll get on to Sheo. Teleport's now coming through. And Adam gonna try and find a face breaker and a showstopper, surely throwing him back towards the Azir turret. Ebby gets a big heal though with the Ruthless Predator and the Call, the Meek. Mersa gets the kill.
There's so much crowd control, but Ruby's not done yet. He's looking for the chain. Will not be able to connect it. How is Jankos continuing to be involved in every single kill? I'm expecting him to drop at least one at some point. Like, surely he can't get another assist. But let's have a look back at this one, because you've got to fight on two fronts. Crownie's overextending in the top lane as Heretics is securing that kill. Labrov in the fog of war throws the arrow out, connects it onto Jackspektra, who has no flash. Then Nuke with the slide back into the ultimate from Vi. Mersa can't really follow up, and then Ebby's like, okay, it's fine, I'll create the flank. But then look at this. The slow comes through onto Ebby. He can't quite get in range of Nuke. And then Adam joins the fight saying, you know what, I'm primed and ready to go. But then he gets locked up underneath the tower. Adam gets stunned, meaning that he can't actually use the W to finish off the kill onto Ebby. Ends up losing his life. And overall, a big advantage game for Heretics. Ends up being a 2-for-1.
Ebby in the picture-in-picture, escape from an arrow and teleport attempt in the top lane, so he gets out alive. But just explaining why Labrov does not have that cooldown available. Could be important with the Cloud Drake spawning, though it would only be second Drake for either of these teams. And this is an Ashe. It has an incredible amount of ability haste, and the arrow's never on cooldown for long. That's
very, very true. I can actually have a quick look and see exactly. It is 4 seconds until it's up, and right now it's got a 48-second cooldown.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so less than a minute.
All right, well, Dragon goes down, claimed by Heretics. That's their second, and it is Heretics with a slight goldie, about 1,500 to 2,000 gold, but you did favor BDS scaling, so if they can sort of hold this lead and let the game go on a bit longer, they're certainly not feeling too aggrieved about how the game's going. It's just a lot of kills.
It certainly is a lot of kills, and I feel like that's what some of these games often devolve into. It becomes less about comp and it becomes individual execution. You know, when you have chaotic games, picks being flown about everywhere, when it's just a battle of kills, it's about who the game becomes more about who then makes that mistake rather than who then executes better, you know? Because who makes that overstep, who is the one that slightly mispositions, who's the one that doesn't quite land that ultimate. And both these teams, you know that they are poised and ready. Jankos continues to look for opportunities, and he's potentially found one in mid lane. Will be spotted out by a good hook shot there from Labrov.
Sheo is not going to be interrupted going for the wall, but Jankos is really feeling it. Going to try and keep going. Nuke on the bot side. Labrov here as well. They do get the stun into the Glacial Prison. Sheo taking 30,000 tons of CC, but still gets to walk on out.
Jankos chain CCing very well there. Applies the E into then the ultimate to get maximum value out of that passive. Oof. But have a look at the Jankos top damage on the Sejuani right now.
It's not a duty, it's an honor, mate. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, the man is on form right now. The start of the split, you can bring into like he has made a couple mistakes throughout the season, but definitely still one of the best performing junglers that we have here in Europe. Glad that he continues to play. Still expect him to have a good number of years left in him. And right now he is looking fantastic in the final game of the regular season for both these teams. 4-4 is their current scoreline, ending with a positive win rate. Who team wouldn't want that? Again, in terms of the standings, not the most dramatic of implications, but still definitely does help as the final results will roll in as the day continues.
It's a feel-good moment in a lot of ways, and it's against your direct rivals. And honestly, what are you spotting here? Yeah, I was thinking about that for sure. Top side, a lot of pings coming down. About to mention that both of these teams came off a bit of a frustrating loss yesterday. Some very tense games. You know, Heretics got pentakill trying to end the game.
True.
BDS and Vitality were in the most mental game versus Vitality, with kills versus tower and bow dying 11 times. And this game's been high action in a similar way, but these teams would like to right some of those wrongs. As
they're fighting around the Baron now, 23 minutes in.
Can you smell the burgers?
Jankos. He's saying this space belongs to us. Him and Mersa working very well right now. It's also great to see, I have to mention, Mersa and Labrov.
Yes.
On last year, when they played, well, for Vitality and Misfits, I feel like that we didn't really get to see a lot of their potential. We didn't get to see what they were capable of. And often you just need to give a player a new environment, a place for them to just shine in a different way, where your expectations are just slightly different, and you can see a completely different look to both players. I think that this Winter Split has been a very different image for both of them, and they've been fitting into their teams very nicely. Let's see which one of them is able to find that crucial pick. Heimerdinger versus Ashe, a matchup of the ages, one could say.
Certainly a matchup of the CC. Both of them have been frustrating solo queue and pro play around the world in equal measure.
Ruby does have Mersa covering, though.
Labrov off vision and definitely positioned to cover the Aaron Mersa, as you said, there and hovering. Sheo will be spotted by that blue trinket, and for once, it feels like we've had a little bit of downtime. Wasn't expecting that after the early minutes of this game.
Well, next Dragon spawned at about 1 minute and 15.
Not much downtime then.
That's where I expect both these teams to be looking. But credit to Heretics. Hang on, I need to get my drawy thingy out. This thing, that's what I'm looking for. So if we have a look at the vision on your screen, you can see that there are a bunch of wards that have invested into the bot side of the map for Heretics, which is the great kind of setup that you want as Dragon gets closer and closer. Teleports are available for both Ebby and Ruby. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ruby actually path back towards top. He is still a ways off level 16, but once he does hit that, the cooldown of his ultimate will be a very scary thing. BDS, though, threatening around the Baron. They're saying, hey, you want to start up that Dragon? No problem. We'll instead gain vision control around this Baron and make you a little uncomfortable. And Heretics do right now feel a little uncomfortable.
You can understand why. Maybe a slight different itemization in the top side. In fact, Adam's gone for the Negatron Cloak, whereas Ebby's gone for the Stopwatch. So one valuing the kind of stats over time, the other, the temporary immunity you get with the Stopwatch. We've all seen how potent that can be, but Heretics with a quick shove in mid lane, claim that turret without too much contest.
Well played by Heretics, good awareness of where BDS are, and they've look at this, BDS being spotted out by the control ward as well. They have no access to the river right now. If observers, you can show us what BDS can see. It would be great to illustrate, like, look at how Heretics are leveraging this bot side fog of war. They keep moving into darkness, and BDS feel very uncomfortable. How do they approach this mid lane? How do they even contest the wave? Heretics, they don't even have to commit that many members over to the Dragon. They can send 1, maybe 2, while the rest just maintain pressure and push in mid. You can see them doing just that. Ruby hovering still around the mid lane, Ebby moving into Fog of War. And it's just a good utilization of the darkness. Now it will be lit up just a little bit more thanks to Labrov. They know that they can get a little bit more space as Labrov slowly edges his way in, but the objective will still be lost. And Heretics walk away with a small lead once again.
now red side contest beginning to come through. Crownie starts up the red buff and Sheo around means Heretics won't look to try and contest that for now, looking to maybe reset and get some control back over the top side river, because that was the loss of moving towards the bot side to claim that dragon. Again, has been for once a little bit of a more contained 5 minutes or so, and we're kind of waiting maybe on next item completion, third item just done for Jackspektra, for example, and Baron potentially next part of call as teleports and arrows coming through in Ruby. Being collapsed onto, but Jankos throws the Glacial Prison. It's a zoning ult. They'll get on out.
Seemed like a bit of a prediction there. Adam and Ebby fighting once again.
Big damage going through, flash forward from Ebby. He really wants this. Adam's got the Haymaker coming. Will be a bit of a turnaround damage, but the CC's coming down. Haymaker comes through. Shield is getting popped. Adam loses the 1v1. Eat a solo kill.
Ebby just straight up kills Adam. Adam had flash, and he chose not to use it. I guess he thought that he couldn't get away there. I was not expecting Ebby to have that much damage. He used the W to just tear through the shield from Adam. And now Heretics are poised to push into the mid lane.
They used that kill to break it on in. They've got the man advantage, and out of nowhere, it's an inhibitor and a 4,000 gold lead kind of coming on through here.
And it all comes back to the top lane. It was incredibly volatile in the early game. It was a constant back and forth between the two Titans. But at the end of the day, it was Ebby that comes out on top. And Heretics are the victors as they claim that mid inhib. They won't be able to secure that bot tower, but BDS now looking for a fight.
Time for some vengeance. They get the stun on Jackspektra. He didn't run cleanse this game. He's been punished for it here. Shut down. Turn around. We're going to come through. Ebby teleports back in. 30 seconds on the ultimate. Ruby going in. Goes golden, but he's on absolutely no HP. Ebby has to run away. Now has dominance. Pops it. But everybody else is dead already. The crocodile is deceased. And BDS punish.
That bot lane has seen so many swung fights, and we get to see another one. A great TP from Adam leads to a beautiful team fight for BDS, and with 4 members dead, BDS are looking to get themselves a Baron.
Heretics just earned themselves a phenomenal advantage, and it's all gone in an instant. How does it keep happening?
It's the story of this game, Initialise. We saw it in the top lane, we've seen it in the mid lane, and now we're seeing it in the bot lane. This will be the Baron for BDS. But I swear, that bot lane tower, the number of teams around the world that I have seen lose fights in that position is just far too many.
I've seen it happen to Eddie at Worlds versus Damwon Kia. He's been haunted there more than nearly any other top laner I know.
And now BDS, they're the ones in control. They have reclaimed the gold lead. They will secure another tower. This doesn't mean that the game is over just yet. But wow, what a turnaround. And it all starts off the back of this TP. Look at this ward right behind them. The arrow connects onto Jackspektra. That's a lot of damage. You could argue that maybe Mersa should have tanked that, but Jackspektra had the flash too, and he chose not to flash out the way. Then you can see Ruby diving onto the backline. He gets isolated as Adam keeps Ebby and Jankos preoccupied. But they just don't have the damage. The fight is basically dictated by BDS from start to finish. The damage dealers weren't at any risk at any point, and BDS just wiped the floor with Heretics.
Do you like roller coasters, Fetty? As I bring up the graphic instead, we get a wonderful Baron power play. That's happening, by the way. Is BDS with that lead, 2,500 right now. But yeah, it's been a bit of a back and forth game, should we say, with the gold.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah. You can see that for the most part, Heretics have been in control between the 15 and 25 minute mark, but that bot lane tower, man. 1 minute until the Cloud Soul. Definitely a nice thing to have. Arrow, ooh, Jackspektra will sidestep that one. A number have, well, what's the word? Made presence with his face, I guess. He has lost his life a couple times as a result.
Eloquent.
Sheo, though, looking to clear out some vision. The game is basically dead even. I would argue that Nuke, with his third item now completed, is a lot stronger than Ruby is. And the scaling, the BDS we talked about, is something that may be problematic for Heretics.
May well be. Soul, 30 seconds away in the scaling you called out. Maybe this is the moment it really shows itself. Still a minute left on the Baron. Stolen Ashe ultimate by Ruby, the enchanted crystalline arrows. His to use. He slices over the wall, and we are preparing for what could be our game-ending fight. Crownie slides away from that one. Ruby missing.
Just a lot of dancing from both teams. BDS have control of the mid wave, which gives them access into the river first. Evie trying to find space, but honestly, I think Heretics can afford to give this one up, but maybe they don't want to. They're saying they need to fight this if they get the soul, and here comes the fight.
Focus coming through, down to 2,000 HP, Dragon secured by Sheo. Evie is ulted away, the showstopper coming through, Adam flashing in for a monster haymaker, but he's dead, the turret's up, and Evie is now doing his best to continue chasing over the wall. He goes, they've got the man advantage, remember, the impetus down, Crownie needs to be very afraid. Evie can look to dive forwards, this crocodile might have died the one time down, body's still bloody scary.
But unless Crownie dies, I feel like, oh,
and
he might!
Smite comes through, Crownie's in danger, does have cleanse, may need to use the wall right, hasn't had to use it as yet. They're trying to stop him getting into the base, Sheo stepping on forward, but it's three members here. Mersa is going to start throwing down the ultimate, stunning up the Vi, who's being dragged away and into her grave, not before she flashes on out. Stays alive for now.
Oh, I think...
Oh my god, another arrow! It's onto Jack! It's it again, the bot lane tower! It's twice in a row for Heretics. Surely not. Oh my god, he gets away.
He will get away, and BDS will find another successful fight. Crownie! This man has been going to dancing lessons recently because he just cannot be touched. His feet are like fire as the TP comes in.
And they've got to fight the jungle. Evie taken pretty low, but that's an Azir shut down. Flash over the wall. That's Labrov looking for 1v1. All the while, Adam trading out with Ruby, but won't get the kill. Stays alive. They get a shutdown onto Labrov as well, who did go looking for that kill. That was bold, mate. Crownie.
Crownie's still alive. I don't know if you can take this, Crownie.
Flash! Ruthless! Predator! Not enough! Crownie begins to fire off again. Ruby teleporting in. The stuns begin to come on through, but it's still a 3v2. Continue to hunt on forwards. The Ultra Shock Laser claims a double for the bot laner of BDS.
And as long as Crownie is alive, BDS will always have a win condition. This man is so strong. He has a 3k gold advantage over Jackspektra. He's level 18. He's the highest level in the game right now, and he's got a QSS completed alongside his cleanse. The man is nearly full build. He's reached the late game, and the game becomes, can Heretics kill Crownie? If they can, there's a world where they can win, but if they can't, this game belongs to him.
I thought it happened when Evie flashed over the wall to get the stun, but cleanse is a hell of an ability, and Crownie is very quick with the finger there to get on out. Let's have a look at this one again.
Oh yeah, bear in mind, this is like a whole 2 minutes ago. They tried to punish him. They thought that he was paying attention to the shot. They can't quite land that final hit, but even if they did, he does have the cleanse. At this point, it looks like a bit of an overcommit into Sheo, but look, Crownie's completely untouched. He's taking 0 hits right now. His spacing is fantastic, and he's dishing out as much damage as possible. Then they realize, okay, no, we don't need to overcommit to this. Then the arrow lands onto Jackspektra. Nuke joins the fight, and Heretics is forced to retreat.
And then we get part 2.
And then we get part 2, where Jankos is able to heal up. Nuke goes in for a 1v1 against Evie, but you put yourself in melee range of the crocodile. Jankos with another great ultimate. Labrov flashes over the wall, but my man, you don't have the damage. They thought that Crownie could offer enough assistance, but it wasn't enough. And then the fight continues, but enough of that. We need to get back into the live action. 14 kills to 14 kills. This is the bloodshed that we were promised, and these teams are delivering.
Blood for the Blood Gods, Skulls for the Skull Throne, and 14 kills to 14 kills in this game. Crownie with the QSS means that even though his cleanse is down, still remarkably difficult to get on, and with how slippery he's been, you have to lock him down for so long. Heretics have got a very difficult proposition when it comes to the Zeri. Baron's alive, BDS starting.
Oh, they're melting it. Jankos throws the ultimate onto Labrov.
Remember, he's got no flash. The good stopwatch, though, teleport coming in. That will be Evie looking to come into the backside. This Croc is a monster. He has got a dominus and an angle. Sheo interrupt with a Vault Breaker, a cease, a desist. Ruby does not hit the chains. The abscond, the abduct. Ruby throwing down a lightning crash. Sheo needs to get over the wall. Adam gets Evie. Adam is still a monster in this game. They get 2, and BDS scaling as well, and truly here.
Wow, so many utility pieces fell short with Labrov's stopwatch. 3 members are left alive for Heretics, and it all comes down to Jankos. Can he get the steal? Will he even try? He has that one ward in the pit. BDS spot him. Jankos, can you do it? Jankos, can you do it? Labrov will die, but at the end of the day, it does not matter in the grand scheme of things. BDS walk away with the Baron, they walk away the victors of the fight, and you can see how difficult these fights are getting. Jankos, I don't think you're going to be able to take this dragon in time, but the time BDS come back, yeah, he's not going to have enough time. It's likely another thing that you'll have to concede, and we've reached the point where Crownie is just that he's far too strong. If we get a replay of that last fight, you'll see how Labrov initially takes that first CC, but then Mersa's ultimate and Jackspektra's ultimate both go into the stopwatch, which means that three massive ultimates were invested onto one target that then doesn't get any value. Jankos?
He's had enough of this. No more getting away at him, though. He's tanky enough to not be worth the Chains of Corruption go wide. Critical ultimates down about what could have been a soul. Heretics now. Yeah, good call. Onto that tier 2 in favor of BDS for now. Ebby trying to charge up some of that passive on the camps in here. Ruby over the wall. Heretics still thinking they can do this.
Jankos is looking, no ulti.
Still gonna try and get on. Secured by Sheo. Early smite from the side of Jankos. Ebby gonna try and blast, got his way to safety, but he's just not got enough. He's left out to dry, and the crocodile is deleted by none other than Crownie.
Another pick secured for BDS, another dragon secured. Nice attempt from Jankos, but the smite came out a little bit too early from what I could see. Sheo now ticks over to level 18. He was put behind early, but he has bounced back phenomenally. Now with the Baron buff, BDS make a beeline for the bot lane, and they have their eyes on this tier 3 tower.
In they come. They've got Baron remaining for a minute and a half. Sheo hunts forward, trying to be the frontliner, inhibitor down. They've still got 30 seconds on Ebby. The 5v4 is theirs. How far do they want to go? Do they see the end in their eyes? They're certainly going to try. Stun. It's on to Mersa. They'll stay alive for now. Those arrows have been heat-seeking. This game, Ruby down to 20%. Oh, they go. First turret down. In goes Sheo. Gets the knockback on a Jackspektra. Uses the stopwatch. Adam goes diving as well. The Azir ultimate comes through. And they're going to flash and murder Jackspektra. BDS. They find a couple plays around a bot tower. And they come alive with the scaling. That's a fifth win. I apologize for them as they head into group stage.
BDS, they played those final fights extremely well. The early game looked good for Heretics, but it was that bot lane fight, that one great TP from Adam. Literally after being solo killed by Ebby, he still had the flash up, he still had the TP up to then create that situation where BDS could just wipe the floor with Heretics and secure a crucial victory. And you talked about the cleanse. You do have to wonder if Jackspektra had the cleanse, how different could this game have been? He got caught a lot off the back of those Ashe arrows. BDS were consistently finding those picks. But I think the biggest problem was Crownie. There was no real threat onto this man. He was so slippery, he had so much power, and for a lot of the game, he was just left untouched. Huge credit to Jankos. Honestly, he had an incredible game.
So good.
7-1-6. He was involved in the 13 of the team's 14 kills. But it was not quite enough. The carries couldn't come alive. Ruby wasn't able to have the impact that he wanted to. And BDS outperformed in the fights.
They did, and they'll be kicking themselves to another game where they thought they were in a winning position, and base pushes get them in trouble 2 games in a row. But on the other side for BDS, this team continues to look like they've got some spark to them. Some of the wins haven't come through in the later weeks, but they look pretty damn good. But instead, I'm going to remind people they can over to LEC on Twitter and vote for your player of the game. Your 3 choices today are Adam, Nuke, and Crownie. I feel like potentially Crownie with that late game in with a pretty decent shout.
Yep, very good chance for sure. I'm a little sad Labrov didn't get onto the list. I feel like that his arrows were incredibly good throughout the game. But of course, you can highlight a lot of the players in this game. It's always going to be a difficult one to vote, but I think you're right. Crownie really was the difference maker. Nuke had some great ults in the final team fights. We didn't get to see that Baron fight, but what was really important in that fight specifically was not only a lot of utility use, but when Ebby's flank came in and then Ruby came in from the Baron wall and they were threatening Crownie with a double pinch. Yeah, Nuke's ultimate then pushed Ebby completely out and then gave Crownie a safe space to escape. And that ultimate was so crucial because even though Crownie got forced out of the fight, Ruby could then come back in and it ended up being a big teamfight win. So again, a lot of great performances from the side of BDS. And props to Adam, the man, like, even though he had like ups and downs pretty consistently throughout this game, he was still always able to have an impact. And I've always been so impressed with his ability to do that. So huge credit to BDS. They will, of course, be playing in our best of 3s next week. Who their opponents will be is yet to be determined. Yeah. We still need a lot of results to happen and the group draw at the end of the day. But as a reminder, best of 3s will be here next week, and you know they're going to be some crazy games.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I'm quite excited for both these teams, but enough from us. Instead, Georgia is standing by with an interview with Sheo. See you in a second, guys.
Thank you very much, Initialise. Welcome, Sheo. Thank you for joining me. Now, this game was absolutely and utterly chaotic. So I want your very short summary of the game and how you felt through it, because I have a bunch of questions for you.
I mean, we tried some 2v2 topside, and it didn't go well, but we tried at least, right? Like in Scream. But we killed level 1 bot side as well. So the game was pretty chaotic, but we had like really good scaling with Zeri Azir, so we were feeling confident still.
And I really love how everyone we've seen from BDS, they seem very much confident about the play and how you guys play all together as a team. Now I want to focus a little bit on you because we saw you last year over in the ERLs. You're jumping on your first LEC stage as well this season. How has the journey been for you?
I mean, I'm really grateful to be there. Like, I'm really happy to play in the LEC. Like last year, it was my first year in LFL. It was great as well. I finished twice second, so I'm really happy as well. But now I want to achieve great things with BDS and with this team. Like, I love my teammates, the staff, everyone, so can't wait for the future.
Okay, if you had to pick your favorite teammate, just a little bit, favorite, which
favorite
one would
one?
be? Yeah.
I will say Nuke. I will pick Nuke.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so the new boy that's playing with you, because you weren't playing with him in the ERLs. Yeah. All right, that's fair. Now, which team, now that you guys are going into the best of threes, which team would you like to face first and why?
I didn't think about this, to be honest, so I would say Mad Lions, maybe. Like, it can be a great best of three, I guess.
Okay, and why would it be Mad Lions?
I mean, it's like a big teams. I think they are playing really well together. So if we beat them, then we can really pretend to the title, I guess.
Okay, and do you think that Yoya is potentially the best jungler that you would potentially like to beat?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yoya is pretty strong right now, so it's always good to play against him.
Absolutely. Beating the best to become the best, they say. And Sheo, I got some intel from a birdie yesterday that your parents were in the crowd.
Yes.
They're not today, but is there something you would like to say to them?
I mean, I'm really thankful for all my family. They are supporting me a lot, like my brother, my parents, so shout out to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheo, for opening up as well. And thank you, guys. We're going to go into a very small break, but stay tuned because next game has a lot at stake.